Hello and welcome to the Buckets and Tea NBA show. I'm your host, Cathryn Naiker. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's episode. Joining me today, you know her, you love her. She's one of our favorites, the creator of Basketball Feelings and many more incredible articles you should absolutely check out. It's Katie Heindl. Yay, Katie.
Nice
You're
to see
here. You're back. I feel like you had an extremely eventful summer and fall. I kept messaging you at moments where you were just not in the city. You were like, no, I'm away at a beautiful cottage. Sorry. No, now I'm away in Italy. Now I'm like, I'm globetrotting. I'm writing for different people. What have you been up to, Katie?
I mean, you make it sound like I had a more far-flung summer than I did. But
I've just been here the whole time. At this desk. I haven't moved.
I'm trying to think when was the last time that we spoke. Did we speak post Summer League?
I don't remember.
I don't either. But yes, I was up north sometimes. I was in Italy for about 3 weeks. We just talked about listeners. We just talked all about this before we started recording.
We just talked about Italy, but you've been writing a book, right?
I have been writing a book. I did not write any part of that book in Italy. I just tried to take a proper vacation for the first time in literally years. I didn't bring my laptop. I set an out of office in my Gmail, which felt like such a dorky move, but I had to do it. And then I'm like, what do I say when you're self-employed freelancer? You're like, I'm not out of office. I'm like, I'm away from my desk. That's what
I have officially set boundaries between my work life and my personal life.
Please
I will return to having a life with a lack of boundaries on this day.
That's actually a good one. I'll use that next. But yeah, I'm working on my book. It's still loosely titled Basketball Feelings. It might just stick as the title at this point. It's a good title.
Well, yeah, and then there's like brand consistency there.
That's
not that I know anything about.
No, it's what everyone says. They're like, it's good. You've already got the brand. Okay.
And what's the
brand?
Can I ask, what's the focus of the book going to be?
Yeah, it's a book of essays. So similar in the vein to Basketball Feelings, the newsletter. So a mix of, personal narrative plus criticism plus reporting on basketball and athletes and, a lot of themes I kind of broach, I feel like repetitively because of things I'm interested in. So, like athlete autonomy, definitions of success in the NBA, how narrow those can be, dunks, just straight up dunks. Yeah, just dunks. To name a few.
No, I mean, I think that's really cool because I think Basketball Feelings comments a lot on the culture of basketball, right? And that's cool because that also in a way it's evergreen, but also it kind of captures a moment in time in terms of what the last decade has been in basketball and things like that. So that's awesome. One thing before we start, Katie, is we have a survey for people to fill out. So here's the thing. We want to know who's watching this show on YouTube, who's listening to the show. Do you like the show? What do you like about the show? And if you don't like the show, but still tune in and listen to it anyway, tell us why, and we'll see what we do with that. But this is what's in it for you. You can win a $250 Fanatics gift card. Okay, so that's a pretty good prize. I've been told there are, quote, several gift cards to give away. So I don't know the exact number, but there is more than one. So last week, I forgot to do this and did it at the very end of the episode. And now I'm doing it for, 3 to 4 minutes in. So we're making progress here. There's going to be a link to this on the YouTube page in the description. So if you're a listener and you want to fill out the survey, you'll have to go to YouTube, Raptors Republic, find the Buckets and Tea episode. Boom, the link will be there. Thank you so much. And also while you're at it, you can like and subscribe and blah, blah, blah. You can put up a like. You can leave a positive review. And I'm going to slowly become a greater professional than I am now. So thank you, everyone. And, I guess we should jump into some basketball. Katie, how about it?
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
Yeah, we'll try. So, one of the things that came out this week was we have new All-Star game rules once again. So, my understanding is now there's going to be a tournament style with 4 teams. So, they're going to take the All-Stars and group them into fours with a last remaining spot going to the rookie game winner. So, I guess the MVP of the rookie sophomore game. Which is interesting to me because I'm like, the winner of the rookie sophomore game could be like Wemby, and the odds of him already making the All-Star team is pretty high. So I'm not sure why they didn't think of that already. But anyway, so that's the new format. I don't know. Is there more to this format? Am I missing anything, Katie?
No,
That's
I
the
think
gist
that's
of
it.
it.
That is the gist. Like, I'll be honest, like my eyes crossed a little when I was trying to read over it's not as convoluted as the in-season tournament rules.
Yeah.
But like anytime they try to introduce a new style or any like new sequence of rules, my brain is just like, no, thank you. I'll learn by watching.
Well, there's that, but also, like I think one thing that's become increasingly frustrating with the All-Star game, in my personal opinion, is the constant change of rules and this idea that the All-Star game needs new rules in order to be more interesting. Where, in my opinion, I think the only thing wrong with the All-Star game is the fact that the players don't care about it. Right? Like, if the players cared, then it would be great and it would be as it was. But if they don't care, then it doesn't really matter what the format's going to be. It'll still be lackluster as a result of them not caring, which is weird because I feel like they care about being selected to the team. Everyone wants to be an all-star, but then when it comes to playing the actual game, there just seems to be, not even just a lack of defense, which it's always been. There just seems to be a lack of effort overall. So that's the part that needs fixing, in my opinion.
No, I think you're right, but it's like, how do you then incentivize people to care about something? I mean, for me, the most interesting thing about the new rule format is you're going to have a rookie on one of these teams, and they're going to play extremely hard, and in some ways that may force their teammates to then play extremely hard so they don't get like shown out. I think the problem in years past, and probably this has been cumulative, is like you've got young guys coming in as all-stars, either their first year, maybe their second year, and they are also probably like ready to play quite hard. And then your veteran all-stars, the people who are getting, who are like career all-stars basically, are like, cool it, like don't try so hard. A little, like, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what's happening. And then I think that mentality sort of permeates generally, like for what the like the mood of the All-Star game is, because for one, the second thing is that it takes so long to begin. And I have heard players complain about this, especially in years past when they did the funny like selection. Like there's always more impetus on like when they were letting, like there'd be captain of the team, so they would pick their team.
Yeah.
That time had more excitement than the game.
I agree. Yep. And
I think when you're also at the All-Star game in person, I don't know how much of this they show on broadcast, but it's like there's like going to be a military tribute for like the local military, because you're always in the States for the most part.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't think they air that part. There's usually then like a component, like a youth component, which is great, but it's like maybe an NBA cares thing. Like then there's the anthems, both anthems. Then there are additional player introductions, even though they've just happened. Like,
so they do player introductions like twice?
Yes. And then the whole time the guys are standing on the floor like they would at the beginning of any normal basketball game. And I think it's like their energy, it kind of peaked, and then even though it's like a quote fake game, it like dips. So that's hopefully out of the way this year, because I didn't actually I should have double checked this. How are they picking the teams?
That I don't know. I believe it's still East-West.
So that's great.
I don't think they're doing the draft again, or at least good. I didn't read that that's the case.
East-West, that's great. Let's just go back to that format. That's fine. Yeah, I don't know. it's like it's a funny thing to be like, how do you get people to care? Because you can't pay them more, really. At
No,
some
it's
point, that just
stupid.
feels
I
like,
mean, they were supposed to care about playing for charity, and they only did once.
yes. Well,
Which I
All-Star
don't
game
know.
was really good, but I also feel like that was good because you had Kyle Lowry, who can't not play hard
Yeah.
and did visibly upset guys like James Harden and
Yeah.
LeBron James because he was playing so hard in an All-Star game. But like, that's what actually made that game exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I I don't know if this would work year after year, but if they did do a US versus international team,
Oh yeah,
I think people would get up for that.
I would.
But at the same time, this is my little conspiracy theory hat going on because it's not a new idea. A lot of people have been saying this for many years.
Mhm.
I think the NBA is afraid to do it because they're afraid to have the international team win.
America can't lose. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
like America can't lose. And I think in that scenario, the international team, at least right now, I think would win.
I think so too. But
Right?
that's
I
what's
mean,
exciting to me. That was what was so
yeah,
exciting about the Olympics this year. I was like, I want any team to beat the US.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, maybe that's a conversation for another day, but it's like, Steph Curry really held that team up when it mattered most in those
Mhm.
close games. And it's like, who's going to be that for them in 4 years time? But
Yeah.
that's a future conversation. But to me, I think they should do it. It would keep things interesting. It would keep people passionate. I think it would put the pressure on the players to actually play and give a shit because they'll be fighting for something, and their national pride or whatever it is. And I think that would be the way for them to care.
Mhm.
So, and it would make for a good game, and it would probably make for a closer game as well.
I do. I like that idea because you're right. Like, they would be so, the league would be so afraid to have them lose because that's always like the narrative, right? It's like our MVPs, like we've lost our American MVPs, like we've lost, when we,
I hate that
I
conversation.
do
It's so
too. It's a
ridiculous.
very dumb conversation. No, I like that, especially in Trump's America.
Yeah, I mean, because like I
You want to
don't.
be isolationist? Let's make it. Let's make this USA versus everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, as Canadians, maybe it's harder for us to understand, but this whole concept that like the best player in the NBA needs to be American is just weird to me.
Super weird. Yeah.
It's like, to me, like Wemby, for example, is super marketable. Like
Mhm.
that's the sort of guise for this argument is that like these international players are less marketable. And I'm like, I think Jokic is super marketable. He's really likable. Like, I don't know. Same with Luca.
Mhm.
Everybody loves Luca,
Mhm.
maybe not Embiid. People don't like Embiid, but
Yeah, that's a tough one.
everyone hates Embiid. But
But
people love
people can be
Giannis.
united in that as well.
Yeah, but
There
like,
you go.
Giannis, all these guys to me are really marketable. Like
Mhm.
Giannis, outside of just his basketball play, is like literally known for his dad humor. That's like a super likable quality.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's all dumb. One thing I thought of going back a couple minutes ago was when you're talking about the military
Oh
salute.
yes. Yeah.
One thing I think just you could do if you wanted, as Miss Basketball Feelings, is you could write a whole essay about the relationship between the army and sports,
Yeah.
because that's something that has always fascinated me. And I guess it's like this thing where it's like we're trying to pull on people's like patriotism,
Mhm.
because sports is also rooted in patriotism, but it's more like superficial.
Mhm.
And like I don't know, like the cross between those things is something that's always fascinated me.
It is. And it always feels particularly out of place. Like, I mean, granted, I understand the players themselves on the Raptors are predominantly American, but when they do
Sure.
veteran, and I don't want people up in your comments being like, she hates veterans, but like, you have to admit, it doesn't mean the same thing here. It's not as tied up in terms of like national identity and like our politics and like even religion, right? Like, it's just, we have a separation of those things. But when the Raptors do the like military, they only do like a one night military like salute night. But there are other teams like, like, I don't know. I actually think every American arena I've been to, for an NBA game, there's like a salute, a veteran of the night.
Right.
Every game night.
Yeah.
There's like, here's the veteran of this night. And like, sometimes they've been so young. And I'm like, what are they? This is crazy. Like, what are they the veteran of?
Oh, damn.
I mean, I understand that America's involved in many conflicts. So I guess they've got a lot to choose from. But it is a really weird thing. And you're right. The patriotism thing is kind of interesting. But I think we are, in my mind, we are like, luckily outside of that. You know, like we can look at it from a bit of like an abstract perspective.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think, like, I like that everyone on the broadcast wears poppies during that time of year and stuff like that. And I think having like one day a year to salute veterans, like you said, like having a veterans night, the way we have nights for other groups of people is very nice. But yeah, you're right in that America definitely does it more than we do.
Yeah.
And I guess that my question is, as we're thinking about this out loud, is like, is that parallel put in place to have more, like, what's its role in consumerism? Like, are we playing on people's like feelings of patriotism to add to a consumerist culture? That's the essay thesis.
Okay.
Which I can't answer right now. And no pressure to actually write it, but you're the one who's qualified to write it.
Are they still making the digital camo like edition jerseys? I don't think so. So it's not to sell those anymore. Thankfully. Thank God.
Yeah, that was an interesting time.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people had DeRozan camo.
I still see those around. I respect the people still wearing them, but it is bizarre to me that they were made in the first place.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really a camo girl. I'm more of a leopard print girl, personally.
They should do that. They should do that.
Listen, Raptors, I'm here. Call me. I'm a consultant. I will usher in the leopard night.
Do it on the court. I think
a leopard print Raptors jersey. It makes no sense because the raptor has a whole other different animal texture.
Think of it with like the purple. It would be beautiful.
Oh, we could do a purple leopard. A purple on purple leopard.
Yeah.
Oh. God, they're never gonna call me Katie.
They might.
Oh my God. Give me a purple on purple leopard accent on a Raptors jersey dress.
Yeah, just like
that's what I want.
A stripe on the short or something.
Yes. Yeah. An accent, not a whole head to toe. That's when, to me, leopard print is an accent. It's an accessory. Anyway. I could go on about leopard print, but yeah, I guess long story short, with the All-Star rules, we'll see. I mean, I think it's just going to be lame that the players don't care and people will complain about it again. And a part of me is like, I appreciate Adam Silver trying new things. And then there's another part of me that's like, can you stop trying new things all the time? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a lot because I feel like they're always trying to like bring in more viewers and like make things better for the casuals. And I'm like, this would confuse the hell out of a casual. Right? Like, wouldn't it? You'd be like, why is the court burning my eyes? Like, why are there not 2 all-star teams anymore? Like, what's going on? Right? Like, I just feel like the casual is like more alienated because there's too many rule changes all the time.
We should really be talking about how they can make the celebrity game good again. I never because I'm like, who are these people? But you get some real celebs in there, and then one celeb has to play in the All-Star game.
When was the celebrity game good?
I don't know. Not in any time I've been watching it.
Yeah, it's like, make the celebrity game good. When was it
good? Make it good, period.
It's hard to make the celebrity game good because they're never that good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But there's got to be some good celebrities.
And then they're like, let's put 2 WNBA players in this, and I'm like, well, that's insulting.
That is rude. Yeah, I'm with you. That needs to. They're not like they're professional athletes first, maybe celebrity second, but they are not like that. Like all the years, it was like a WNBA athlete has to pass to the stupid dude,
Kevin Hart or something.
Fire, like get out of here.
Yeah. Angel Reese to the arcade fire and a miss. Like it's
embarrassing.
No. They are okay. I didn't put
TikToker, some random TikToker. Yeah.
It probably will be a quote unquote random TikToker. Absolutely. I didn't ask you about this, but the rumors of the Steph Curry, Sabrina Ionescu, Klay Thompson, Caitlin Clark 3-point shootout. What are our thoughts on that?
I like it, but I don't think it's rumor. I feel like that's something about.
I don't know if it's been officially confirmed.
There's like a cat hair on my nose. I'm like punching my microphone. It hasn't been confirmed, but from my understanding, like because that was what did so well last season, like that was the event like the most people talked about, the most people did tune in for. Frankly, like All-Star Saturday night is basketball's biggest night.
It really is. And it would be the biggest event. Like if they do this, they have to flip it with the dunk contest. It won't be superior. Like this, the dunk contest won't be superior to this.
Let's slow down.
Stop.
TBD.
I'm not slowing down.
TBD.
We've never disagreed more on.
It's true. Like, and this is like I will never budge from this position. I have a tattoo that says dunk contest on my body, so I can't.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I thought you did.
Please feel free to send us a photo so we can insert it on the YouTube video.
But I always like a dunk contest to me is kind of perfect because it is also like solving. So like the years it's terrible, like last year, for example, wasn't great. I still love watching them all, but the years they are quote like technically bad, they bounce back the next year. They like, it's like its own entity, you know, it's like its own organism. It wants to thrive in my mind. I love the dunk contest. And even like bad dunks. Last year was awful on that LED floor that was so slippery and was so distracting.
I forgot about the LED floor.
It was very slippery.
Too much life has happened for me to have remembered.
I know. It was a long time ago. That feels like years ago. And there were like glitches in the LED floor. We don't need to adopt that kind of technology. Like to me in a dunk contest, that's not to be like the dunk contest is like sacrosanct, but like that part of it, like the dunk should be enough.
So, okay. Everyone listening, tuning in, let us know what you think. I want to know. Like,
I don't want to know. I don't care.
I want to know. I care. I want to know if you think the dunk contest should remain the final event on All-Star Saturday night, or if you think the 3-point shootout with Steph, Caitlin, Klay, and Sabrina should take over. Here's the thing with Klay right now. He has plantar fasciitis.
Yeah.
Which is a foot injury that I should have Googled this, but I believe it's chronic.
It can be, but you need to, my husband actually has this right now. You just need to strength train, it does take a long time to recover from, but it's like pretty debilitating in the sense that you're always on your feet, especially if you're an athlete, but it has more to do with strength training and like building up the little muscles like in your feet again.
That sounds hard.
It is.
Even for an athlete, I mean.
Yeah, it is hard. Well, because the whole thing of like physio and strength training is you kind of have to take the time to do that. And someone like Klay Thompson can't take time off of the NBA schedule to build up the little muscles in his feet. But
yeah, I mean, I just like, you know, I love Klay Thompson, as we know. And I feel bad for him because he's had to battle back from so many injuries, and when people like clown him on the internet for missing and stuff, I'm like, get a life. Like you could never, okay? Like stop this. Like he's still one of the greatest shooters ever in the game's history. Like, you know, everything he's had to overcome, like shut up. You know what I mean? Like, and now he's got it, like he's got, you know, possibly a chronic issue or an on and off chronic issue with his feet. He's not going to be the shooter he once was. And I think everybody has to kind of let that go and like sort of readjust their expectations of him. But in terms of like the All-Star contest, it's like, will he be healthy to participate? Will someone have to fill in for Klay? Which maybe at this point that's James Harden because he's reached number 2 recently on the all-time 3-point list.
Did he?
He did. Isn't that crazy? He passed Ray Allen.
But I
believe Damian Lillard has passed Reggie Miller recently.
Okay.
So that whole list is like totally just. Steph is still pretty far out.
Are they going to put Jakob Poeltl in the 3-point contest? Will they do a regular 3-point contest, like a traditional one, and then the cool like WNBA asking the
That
WNBA
I don't
athletes
know.
to come in?
If you want Jakob Poeltl in the 3-point contest, we're gonna have to get Matt Devlin to say it on the broadcast every time.
Well, like if Fred VanVleet could get in the 3-point contest.
Fred wasn't in the 3-point contest.
Yes, he was.
He was?
I swear he was, unless my brain is completely
No,
broken.
I believe you.
I think there was one year where he was, and I remember being like, this feels strange. But now I'm like, was it skills? I think it was a 3-point contest. But if he could, Yak's shooting at a clip. Let's get him in.
Oh, yeah, he was. 2022.
Yes.
All right.
Like, there have been some guys who now retrospectively you're like, why were you in the 3-point contest? Probably because you were having a hot 3-point shooting year. And you know who is having a hot 3-point shooting season so far? Jakob Poeltl.
Yeah, but also in 2021, 2022, Matt Devlin, Freddie All-Star, over and over and over again. He willed it. Matt Devlin willed that into existence. I'm quite confident.
The Austrian hammer. He just needs to keep saying it every single broadcast. Let's bring the hammer down on All-Star.
Literally. If he does that, then I think Matt Devlin's powerful, is what I'm saying. He's powerful.
Have a word with him about that.
Yeah, you should. You should. I feel like he's a nice guy. He comes across as a nice guy.
He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. He's so tall. He's so tall. He's very tall, and he's like a big guy. Like,
is he taller than me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Just by a little, though.
Oh, so he's not that tall.
How tall are you?
I'm like 5'10".
No, he's taller. Because he's about as tall as Will. And how tall is Will?
Oh, he's like 6 feet.
Yeah.
6'1". All right. We have different standards for what tall is. That's fine.
You know what it is? The caveat, it's tall for male media standards.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Not tall.
I mean, I'm tall for people just in the world.
Yeah, you
generally.
are. Yeah, you are. But when
I'm tall, I'm tall and I'm a little wide. You know what I mean? Like, I take up space.
Yeah, you take up space.
That's what I do.
When I'm not the tallest person in the room in any given presser, then I'm like, oh, this person's tall. This other person's tall. Because most people are shorter than me in those things.
That's so funny. Because you're like 7?
5'9", Cathryn. God.
You're 5'9"?
Has my aura shrunk?
No.
I seem shorter.
No, yeah, it's just my vision, maybe.
5'9".
All right. Yeah, I believe you. They're all shorter. It's true.
Grange is tall. Grange is tall.
Michael Grange is tall. Yeah. Matt Devlin's tall.
Will Lou's tall.
Will Lou's tall. I guess Samson is taller than you.
I don't know about that.
Not by a lot.
What kind of shoes? It's like, what kind of shoes is he wearing?
But no one else. No, they're all shorter.
Yeah, everybody else is pretty short.
And I just tower over everyone, baby.
It's a short crew. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm rooting for Clay, obviously. Do you have any other locker room stories for us, or
about Clay? Unfortunately, no.
No.
Sorry.
He's back in December.
Okay.
December 7th.
The Mavs are here. I'll make sure I'm at that game.
Yeah, let me know. Keep us posted.
I'll ask him the same question.
I'm not going.
Crazy woman is back. Great.
Well, I would love it if he remembered you. That would be so cool.
Yeah. Well, probably when I'm like, this is the weird question I asked you, he'll be like, oh yeah. What I will say about Clay, though, for real, in the 3-point contest, I feel like even with his feet, he could probably still be in it.
Right.
But like, let's hope by February things are cleared up for him. But
yeah,
to just to shoot in a semicircle, I think he could do it.
All right. Mm-hmm. I hope so. Mm-hmm. You're the plantar fasciitis expert on this podcast.
Turns out I am. If anyone wants to know, I got some strength training exercises hot off my personal trainer to pass along about strength training your feet. So if anyone needs them, if anyone's in foot pain, hit me up.
Freddie Rivas needs that.
Okay.
Shout out to Freddie.
First one, then I'll just give this away for free. Scrunch up with your toes, all of your toes, scrunch up a towel.
Whoa.
Have a towel or like a tea towel. Start with a tea towel because it's thin
Yeah.
and it's not so big on the floor. Go barefoot and just use your
Ooh.
feet to scrunch up the towel as best you can and keep doing it because it'll take a while. And that's going to work all your little muscles.
I hope, Clay, I hope you're listening.
Yeah, free advice for Clay. But definitely his professional trainers are not telling him.
No, they got too many fancy things. They're not just handing him a tea towel, you know?
Being like, go to work. You know what?
Yeah. They're doing all kinds of crazy, like hyperbaric chamber shit when he just needs a tea towel, perhaps.
That's all.
So, okay. The other NBA topic I wanted to do today was a bit of a viral moment from our old Raptor, Fred VanVleet, Freddie All-Star, where he got into it with the refs a bit. And he was pointing at all the refs saying, you a B word, you a B word. And then kind of like almost poked a ref like in the face, but didn't really, but just got like so close into his personal space that like, depending on the camera angle, like it kind of looks like he hit him, but kind of didn't. He ended up getting fined. I believe it was like 30,000 or something like that. And we all know how much Fred loves money. So I'm sure that hurt a bit. But it got me thinking about like the relationship that players have with referees, right? Because like Fred, you know, he had that epic rant when he was still a Raptor and he called out a ref specifically. And I personally, I was very pro that rant when it happened. And I would prefer a rant like that than actually like getting in their face and just calling them the B word. But it's like, I feel like we're always talking about how frustrating calls are as fans and how like these replays take so long and they disrupt the flow of the game and blah, blah, blah. And I'm also thinking too, like as fans, we root for the players and the team. So it's like, if they're frustrated, we're going to be frustrated. And it's almost impossible to not have that. So as a philosophical NBA thinker like yourself, I wanted to ask you, like, what do you think the league could do, if anything, to help sort of balance or give some more cohesion to this sort of relationship?
First, I didn't know that he pointed at multiple refs and said that. I thought it was just one.
No, well, he pointed at multiple, but then he got in the face of one, possibly inadvertently.
Okay.
To me, it looked a little inadvertent because they were like walking and moving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway.
Which I think that's like a good point to make, that a lot of this stuff needs to be taken in the context of a game. Like when someone's like, oh, they shoved a ref or like they got in their face. It's like, yeah, they could just be walking or like someone, you know, kind of like.
Yeah, I mean, like I can't say for certain if it was intentional or not. Like the pointing was intentional, but being like that close to him, I don't necessarily think was.
Yeah. I mean, as someone who's like tried before and wants to write and like interview and speak with refs, I will say they don't do themselves any favors because they're not necessarily a group that's made available. And to a degree, I suppose I get it, but I also do think there's probably not a bigger group that could use some PR than NBA referees.
That's true. That is very true.
Like, why don't you let me talk to you about how hard your jobs are sometimes, or the times where like you're also like, I almost lost my cool at someone pointing their finger in my face and calling me profanities, you know? Like, let's hear about how refs potentially amp themselves up for a game. Do they meditate? How do they let things go? I would not be able to go back to my job the next day if someone did that to me. Or like, how do you not get like a giant sized chip on your shoulder after something like that? So NBA Referee Association, get at me.
Yeah, I love that. I love the idea of like humanizing the refs more because it, you know, I think all of us get frustrated with the refs every single game. It's impossible like it to not be. But at the same time, it's like it is a hard job.
Yeah, it's
like it's an extremely hard job. And even things that like are obvious to us are only obvious because we have things like replay and you know, we're looking at things from like an outside perspective. We're not there in the moment with our own eyes. Like it's just it's one of the hardest jobs in sports.
Yeah.
So I feel like also they're all insanely in shape.
They're so fit. It's crazy.
Like
It's
they have to
crazy
be,
how much
but it's
they have
like,
to run.
yeah, like I also want to learn about that. Like they have no one subbing them in and out of the game. They're running the whole game.
Yeah. No, I mean, they've got their quadrants, but yeah, like it's very fascinating. I think it's always been like a very cool thing to me that they train at summer league. Like that's where most of them like get their start and like supposedly, get the nerves out of them. But like to begin with, it is just like a fallible job, right? You're trusting one person's, not just like actual physical perspective. So depending on where they are standing when something happens, the angle which they caught it at. Also, they're like, I don't know, there are such things as like the degree of fatigue they're feeling. Maybe they blinked. Maybe someone in the crowd yelled something profane at them and they like
And it distracted them. Yeah.
or they like looked away for a second. Like there's all these other factors that go into it. And I know people be like, well, they should just pay attention. Like that's their job. And it's like, yeah, but anyone can relate to for a moment your attention drifting at your job. I'm sure this literally happens to surgeons. You know what I mean? I mean, surgeons that will then probably stop and just be like, have a couple long blinks. But it's a very tough job. And like there's you're playing off the energy of the athletes around you. You know what I mean? You also like if you've been in it long enough, it is impossible not to establish relationships. And I don't mean that in like a biased way, but it's difficult to then like compartmentalize relationships with people and then go out and be like not biased. No, I guess I didn't mean to imply that they are biased, but I think that's just like psychologically a difficult thing that they should probably get more credit for, and then I think there's also like a bit of a bent of like, if you know someone, sometimes you are inclined to go harder on them, There's all this stuff that factors into it, which like all is to say, it's always going to be an imperfect job because though I wouldn't even put it past the NBA to be like, we're going to get robot refs. They're so like overhype on like innovation at all costs. That I do feel like I said that as a joke, but now I'm like, no, it feels possible in like the near-ish future. But I do think even robot
or
refs
it could be like an AI robot, like a ref assist, and then they're gonna give it some stupid name.
They will.
They're gonna be like, this
It'll have a dumb acronym.
This is Kirby or something.
Yeah, and it'll stand
be like, this is like a random.
Yeah, It'll
like,
be like, if it's Kirby, it'll be like keeping it real, basketball.
Like, like whenever you have like a customer service bot and then they like give it a name.
Yeah.
And it's so irritating. Like,
yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, I could see that happening, which might help the game be more efficient. We'll see.
I don't know.
It still needs the nuance of human beings. Like, I don't think that'll ever go away.
Because it's a game played by human beings, right? So then there's also like, I mean, some of the best, though I imagine it is incredibly frustrating in the moment, but like I always like it a little bit when the next day the Refs Association puts out a statement and is like, oh, we got that wrong. We got that very important call.
Yeah.
Wrong. Because it's like, it shows you're willing to also say, yeah, we messed up.
I feel like a bot ref that's like looking at the whole game and every player on the court all the time, that whistle's going to go off every like 5-10 seconds.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. Because it's like if also one of the complaints is that there's too much reffing, right? And we're hearing too many whistles, the game is stopping too much. If you want a referee to enforce things by the book to a T, there will be a million more whistles.
Yeah, like a game will last like 5 hours or something. Yeah. Like it'll just be too much.
Yeah. I don't mind the replay center. I don't even know if they use Steve Javie anymore. Has he gone into retirement?
Steve Javie.
I do like when they
what are the stats on Steve Javie? What are the stats?
Sorry. 20 years. No one knows where he is. He's just in Secaucus somewhere. He's like, please let me out of here.
He's like in a prison with monitors.
I think he is with the robot refs.
Oh my god. I wonder what the stats are on him actually getting it right. Because the refs on the floor will contradict him. And then Doris Burke is just doing her best. She's all like, Steve Javie, like, what do you think? And then she's trying to like justify why Steve Javie was wrong and was
Yeah.
like, thanks, man. Appreciate you out there all the time.
Now we go to Steve Javie, hundreds of thousands of miles away.
He's like in Antarctica.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, another essay topic for you if you haven't
Thank you.
already done it.
Yeah.
But
This is great for my pitch folder.
There you go. I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think it's time for a Raptors Homer moment. Okay, let me pull up my topics here because there's a lot of fun Raptors things happening so far. So, one thing I wanted to get the pulse on from you, Katie, is obviously like, we've talked about this team being really fun to watch this year on this podcast. And I think like them not having the burden of expectations has really helped. I think even when they're losing, we're having a lot of fun. I've been calling this the enjoy the process era for the Raptors. But I want to know from you, like, what has been like the most surprising thing about this team for you 1 month into the season so far? And what's the one thing you wish they could improve upon?
I mean, I saw a video today of them all dancing in the locker room, and I
That's
thought that
right.
was
Yeah.
cool. I don't recall a Raptors team of the past that has done that. And I'm sure there are people that are up in arms about that, just like Jared McCain on TikTok and his nail polish, etc. But like, sorry, bros. Sometimes it's good to do those things and like introduce a little levity, when it's needed.
There was some karaoke singing in the past, I recall.
Yeah. Obviously, this is not to say the franchise is not a dour one for the most part. I think those really bad years, like in Tampa and beyond, were anomalies, and that's why they felt so laborious and like very strange and grating, because it's like it's not what we're used to. I don't think. And what I do like the most about this roster so far is all the happy accidents we're getting to like figure out because of the injuries. Like there are silver linings to everything. And then like that the energy has stayed peaked throughout it. There's a real sense of like community with the team. They really do seem to like and enjoy each other's company. I know we're going to talk about Bruce Brown, but like, even seeing him, he's like, and he said it, like he's like all in, like everybody's all in. And it's in a really funny way. Like I was at the jersey reveal at the AGO a couple of weeks ago, and Garrett Temple was there, and he was like making fun of his young teammates because someone asked him like, what are they like, what kind of lessons are you teaching them as a vet? And he was like, clearly nothing about fashion. You haven't seen that picture where it's like Scotty and him and I forget who else. But yeah, it's just like everybody has like
Bruce Brown.
Oh, Bruce Brown, yeah. It has just like such extreme different looks, There's like a good push-pull of like respect, but also like teasing and understanding. I just think they've like struck a very good balance. And like, to get all that corniness out of the way, I do think that also translates on the floor because it shows in like the effort and how much they're trying. Like, yes, they haven't gotten that many wins, but they've also been a hard team to beat. And like they've been a hard team to beat. I think it's surprised a lot of very good teams how difficult they are and like how tenacious they are and how much they move and how like exhausting they can be. And all of that comes from the energy that's just like being built and being fed into the performance on the floor. So that's probably the biggest surprise. I knew they would be fun, but I guess I didn't think they would be maybe this fun this fast.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I kept my expectations pretty low coming into the season. Talking about the tank in early October. People are still talking about the tank, but that is what it is. But in terms of what this team could improve upon to maybe get to like another level of winning, if you even want to see that happen.
No, I do. I do.
What would that be?
Yeah. Sorry, I know that was your two.
No, all good.
I totally blanked on it. I think closing out games, right? Because that is just where, they've shown they can wrestle, they can like build a lead or maybe wrestle a lead out of another team's hands. But to hang on to that, I think there is a little bit that needs to be built upon of like slowing the game down for themselves and learning to wait for the game to kind of come to them and then
Mhm.
manipulate it instead of trying to rush into a sense of control, which leads to just like poor decision making, turnovers. Like I think, are they leading the league in turnovers? They're definitely up there, but like,
Right.
yeah, there's like just some I don't want to say nervous, but just like very like too quick thinking. Like you can slow down your thought process a little bit, when you're
No,
making.
I think nervous energy might be right. Like there were a couple games this month where, I mean, I've loved RG Barrett this season so far, so I'm not trying to knock him, but there were a couple moments where like he had like a game winning shot
Mhm.
or a shot to make like a real difference at the end of the game. And like he would take it like from so far out and like there
Yeah.
was still time on the clock. And I think that's what you mean by like slowing things down and letting it come to you and not like rushing in those moments.
Yes.
And yeah. And I think too, like, this young team, young for the most part,
Mhm.
they need to learn how to win together. So like even though these like losses have been quote unquote heartbreaking, I haven't felt that way at the end of these games because
Mhm.
I do get the sense that like they are learning how to win together. And I think like early in the season, right? Like it's only the first month into the season, having those moments now is the best time to learn
Mhm.
from these things. So I haven't had that like heartbreaking, like hardened feeling that
Mhm.
maybe I don't know if other fans have felt that way during
Yeah.
these games where I'm just like I'm seeing like again I'm enjoying the process. I'm seeing them learn in these moments and I've been more encouraged by that than not.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like it's hard to feel heartbroken because again, like the wins have been so close, and I think they've been close in ways that we didn't necessarily anticipate.
Yeah.
Looking at the roster to start the season, like I just thought they'd be having straight up more huge blowouts, right? And that's really not been
That's kind
the
of what
case.
I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really not been the case. So I think
We
just
had a blowout win against the Pelicans.
yeah, yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. Like I did
Was it a
definitely
blowout win? I
it'd be the
stopped
other way
watching.
around.
I stopped watching the last couple minutes. I'm
Yeah, the
like,
West
wait, was
Coast
it a
or like
blowout win?
West-ish games always are like it's a little bit out of
Yeah,
my
yeah. I
my
mean, I
prime
only
time.
stopped watching because I knew it was a blowout, but
Yeah. Um, but I know I think when I think of what they'll gain, it's like once they get quickly back and Scotty Barnes back and get the talent that's already there and doesn't like need warming up, right? Like
mhm,
you've had so much learning in this time with like the weird roster rotations on the fly and guys having to sub in because you need just like, oh, we need some shooting, we need some length, we need some rebounding here, we need some like a defensive spark. And every person on the roster offers a little bit of something different. So they've all been thrown into situations where they've been asked to produce. And I think for the most part are doing a good job.
mhm.
So you then add this kind of depth, basically, like a bonus depth that you didn't necessarily know was there yet, or maybe you wouldn't have unlocked until much later in the season, but you're doing it now. So I think that's probably the coolest benefit to me.
Mhm. I wanted to talk to you a bit about Bruce Brown,
Please.
aside from the cowboy fits, because we have talked about that on this podcast. By the way, he's from Boston. Did you know that?
Uh, if I did, it's still surprising to hear you say that. That's wild.
I learned that last week, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this information. He's from Boston.
Oh, that's rough. I feel like he's from, when someone is from somewhere, but it's like they always have the energy of like, it's like that person needs to live at like X, right?
Yeah, like he doesn't carry himself with Boston energy at
No,
all.
that man needs to live in like the plains of Texas or like, Arizona, like, I don't know,
He could be in
gorgeous
Idaho. Like he could be like,
big sky country,
yeah.
Colorado, or wait, is that Montana? One of them. He needs to like,
What's big sky country?
I think it's Montana.
Oh,
So
Colorado's all the mountains.
mountains, but Montana has them too. I think it's just like when the sky goes on forever.
Yeah, we're really just saying a red state, like just any red state.
Like it's not the topographies or like the geography's fault, like of the
Yeah, not
politics in these places.
yeah, not trying to associate him with any
That's
politics.
not, yeah, we're not
Yeah,
like that's
I'm
where
not
Brown
doing that.
needs to live. I don't know how he voted. I don't know how he voted.
We don't know if he voted.
Yeah,
But
that's
anyway,
true.
aside from all of that, he kind of did this like sort of unofficial interesting apology this
Mhm,
last week where he
mhm,
talked about how, I mean, I'm paraphrasing here, but that he felt bad that he gave the Raptors fans an impression of a lack of effort and that
mhm,
he wasn't really into being here and that essentially isn't true, that he does like it here and he was dealing with a lot of injuries last season and was kind of playing on one foot, so to speak, and like, he is all in
mhm,
here,
mhm.
which is really cool as a longtime Raptors fan. I mean, I've been a Raptors fan my whole life. A real 180 from the early years of the Raptors. Talk about a 30th anniversary. That is a 180 if I've ever seen one. It only took 30 years for someone to get traded here and be like, hey guys, you know what? I actually really like it here. No, I'm kidding. Other players have said that, but no one has ever done the apology of
Yes.
been like, I didn't want to be here and you have all proven me wrong. And now he's also, I mean, I didn't mention this part because we just wanted to mainly talk about the apology, but in all kinds of trade rumors again. And it's like, I
Yeah.
know that's going to come up in the future. So maybe we'll save the trade stuff for a future week. But I mean, it's interesting to me that, and I like that he's done this apology. I think it's really cool because I feel like he's gone from being like, Bruce Brown, major eye roll, when are we trading him, to like a borderline fan favorite, I would say, even though he hasn't had any time on the court this season.
Yeah. I think I mean it is a really cool thing to hear, and your point about like hearing this also like unprompted, and
Mm.
that he's like, I've been hearing that people think this, also weirdly validates some long
Oh,
repressed
he's been hearing it
bad
because he
fan
had
in
a,
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
he had another tweet in the summer about it or something.
Okay. Um
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean
no,
to
no,
cut you.
no. And I just like, it is such a cool thing to hear. Um some crazy drillings going on outside. Sorry if anyone can hear that, but we're almost done. We're almost done here, thankfully. Um, it's sweet, and like I probably am one of the Bruce Brown apologists. I realized early on in this season, like I kept saying, like the team isn't ready. The team isn't in its current iteration isn't ready for a player like Bruce Brown. But I was essentially, I realized, like talking myself out of an athlete that I've long admired, that
Mm.
I always was like, I would love it if Bruce Brown played in Toronto. And then it happened, and it was this classic Toronto sports thing of like, well, I don't deserve it. We can't have it. Here's the
We
reason why
don't
it can't
deserve
happen. You know what I mean? Like once I realized I had been like all season last year talking myself out of it, I kind of like snapped myself out of it and was like, well, he is here. And yes, of course, it stinks to not see him playing, but it's been very cool to see how engaged he is, like on the
it.
side,
Mhm.
like on the bench. I think his presence is just like, one, we're kind of hard pressed to have like some good style and general coolness on the team. So that is very excellent to see, and hopefully
Mhm.
rubbing off on not the style. People can have their own styles. I'm not critiquing people's styles as Garrett Temple
No,
does.
that's what we do here, Katie. We critique
But
people's
okay.
styles.
Well, he looks great. I don't think he's had a bad look all season. I mean,
I
yeah,
loved the vest that he had last night.
yeah. I was hearing reports of the vest. I really
Yeah, it was
appreciate
really cool. It's
people
like a vest
tagging
slash
me,
shirt.
like adding me to be like, Bruce Brown is wearing a vest tonight. Like, thank you, everybody. Um, yeah, it's like, do you think it was leather, or do you think it was like a cowhide print on another fabric?
Oh, I didn't think it was leather at all.
I don't know that it was
It looked
denim
more,
though.
it looked like softer, looser than
Soft.
leather.
Someone suggested silk to me, and I wonder
It
maybe
looked more silky than
like a
it did
jacquard kind
leathery.
of like silk. Yeah, could be.
I
Anyway,
don't know.
we should ask Bruce. I think it's
You
very
should ask
cool. I
Bruce.
should ask Bruce. I know. I'm just basically like too nervous to talk to Bruce about all the things I'd like to talk to him about. I will be sad if he gets traded, because it's mostly, again, very selfishly, I have just come around on the idea of like, it's
Mm.
great that he's here. If he's saying he wants to be here and play, and then he doesn't actually get to do that, that sucks.
I agree. That
Yeah.
would be disappointing at this point.
Yes.
I think too, because, although we're having fun with this team and we feel like we've got a more, when healthy,
Hmm.
we've got a decent team, especially an Eastern Conference team here. and maybe people are tempted to kind of trade up to get into like a play-in situation and things like that. But I feel like we should just kind of ride this year out and see how we are healthy and see who we really have
Mhm.
together. It would be nice to see Bruce Brown on the court. As much as we love his outfits, it would be nice to see him on the court for this team and
Yes.
to see what that fit is and to give it a chance to like grow.
Mhm.
So I'm not at this point eager to trade him, but I think we need to see what we have. And then if it's not really gelling on the court, then we can do something about it in the off season.
Mhm.
I think, is he a free agent?
I think his contract is up, right? Isn't that why it's like the trade talks are happening? It's like he's an easy quote person to
But he
trade.
likes it here
I
now.
know he likes it here. That's all. And in some ways, I do feel like that's can be the damning thing for a Raptor when they
Mm.
express they're like, "I'm happy here." It's like goodbye.
Then Masai gets
Too comfortable. Yeah, get out of here.
Siakam, I don't want to leave. Oh yeah. Anyway,
Demar, I love it. I love
I
Toronto. It's
love
my second
Toronto.
home, my adopted home, the only home I've ever known. Get out of here. You're gone.
Yeah. Kawhi, see you guys. No, come back. Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you sure? We'll give you the whole city.
Yeah.
You can eat anywhere for free.
Yeah, I still think about that. He doesn't know how much money but he could have saved so much money just
Here.
in meals. Yeah, meals alone. Fine and like fine
Oh
dining.
yeah.
For sure Osmos, but like also I'm sure fine dining.
Yeah, literally anywhere. The thing
Um,
about playing in Toronto that nobody talks about is that Katie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is true, that they get paid in American
they do.
dollars.
Yeah, they do.
So it's like you play in Toronto, like everyone talks about the taxes, but it's like you live in a land where everything is like 30% off.
Yeah.
Your house is 30% off. Your car is 30% off. Like, come on.
Yeah. Your dollar's going I mean, I'm sure that's if they're not
That
pitching,
makes up for the tax.
I think
Truly.
so.
If you
Or at
really do
least like probably breaks even with it. But yes, like
No, I think it would surpass it because there's a thing like when you pay both Canadian and American taxes, it caps at a certain point. So, anyway,
okay.
I pay American taxes sometimes
Yeah.
through my comedy album residuals, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, but
Interesting. All
anyway,
right.
the whole
All right.
thing. Tax law, blah. Okay, Katie, we
Oh,
got to move on to our hottie highlight of the week. And, we teased this a bit last week when I had Oren on the show because we knew it was going to debut later that night. It's the Scotty glasses, baby. We thought it was going to be goggles. We got glasses, in earlier times of the NBA. It was like Michael Phelps goggles on the court. It was like we are undersea but playing basketball. Like it was crazy, the goggles, right? Which is why nobody wanted to wear them for
or the
so long.
mask. Yeah.
Or the mask,
Yeah.
right? But now we've got these, what I consider really nice, really sharp looking glasses as a glasses connoisseur myself. But the thing is we've got two pairs. We've got a red pair and
one
we've
of
got a
them?
black pair.
I'm Googling right
Oh,
now.
yeah, it's the exact same glasses, the exact same frame.
Okay.
But one is red and one is black. So, Katie, I want to know, are you team red or are you team black?
These aren't the glasses he's wearing at post game.
No, these are the glasses he's wearing during the game.
I mean, if you search, ew. The first photo that comes up is the glasses, and then Scotty's eye is bleeding.
Oh,
Thank you, Global Mail. Thank you for that.
Yeah, his eye bleeding looks like that new Lady Gaga video. Like the disease. Anyway.
Oh god.
That's a Venn diagram that's going to apply to very few people here.
I'm going to go team red just because we all know where I stand on another great pair of red glasses, Quinn Snyder's.
Oh, yes. We love Quinn's glasses here.
We love Quinn, his glasses, his strange intensity. There's not much I don't love about Quinn Snyder.
Yeah, he has great glasses. I agree. The red are great. The black feel very secondary. I thought it was a bit surprising that they did have two. I don't know what his stats are on the court, red versus black. I don't
Ah,
know if there's any difference there or not. Please let me
something to look
know if you
into.
find
Yeah.
the stats on this. But I got to propose something here. He needs a third pair
Yeah.
of glasses,
Yeah.
and they need to be purple.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah.
This is the 30th year anniversary, blah, blah, blah.
So no
We
brainer.
gotta,
Yeah.
we gotta have purple glasses.
It's a no brainer.
I
And
think they'd look good.
I think they would look great. And it gives like you're not making light of something like an injury, but you
Oh
are like
no.
you're also being like, you know what, we can work with this.
Yeah, we gotta have coordinated glasses to the uniforms. I don't
Mhm.
know how long he's wearing these things. That's the other part.
Yeah.
But like, if he had purple glasses to go with the city jersey, chef's kiss.
Yeah. I, I think these things, I'm sorry if these are some kind of like space age glasses that take a very long time to produce, but I feel like you could bang out a purple pair pretty fast.
Oh yeah, where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
They can do it. No
Alex
question.
McKechnie, let's get your team on it. Come on.
Yeah. I
Let's
mean, the
get
black
you to
pair
Lens
are
Crafters or wherever.
yeah, the black pair or whatever, they're fine. I don't want to see a white pair.
Mm-mm.
I think that would be too distracting. I don't think that's going to
Gold?
look
No.
no, because I think they'll end up looking like brown.
Yeah, like a mustard.
Yeah, like they will like people don't pull off gold right. Like when gold, quote unquote gold color isn't metallic, I just get upset.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Leopard, to go back to what we were talking about earlier. Do we dare?
Give me a turtle shell. Give me a red ombre turtle shell.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, what about like a purple
A purple turtle
tortoiseshell? Yeah,
shell?
yeah,
Yes.
I could see that.
Scotty, I'm here. Hire me. My consulting rates
We'll
not that
source
high.
to source the plastic for your glasses.
I will custom design these for
Mhm.
you.
Mhm.
Okay, as a glasses connoisseur.
True.
These are Celine.
I have a pair of
Celine.
mine are Celine. Good
Very
taste.
nice.
Good taste.
Good taste. Good
Yeah.
taste. Okay, we should probably wrap it up there.
Why bother? We're batting 100. I don't even know.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's true. We are batting 100. Katie, thank you so much for joining me. Let us know what you're up to and where we can find you on the internets.
Yeah, to go back to something we were talking about earlier, people hating referees, I wrote a story about fines in the NBA and where they go. You know, what
Oh
happens
God,
when
yeah.
someone like Fred VanVleet gets an arrest face and then has to pay for it. They actually go to charity initiatives.
Mhm.
So I spoke with the NBPA and the executive director of the NBPA Foundation, which has a grant matching program. So like any athlete can apply for up to 25K and the NBPA will match it. Some choose it to go to one charity, some kind of spread it around. I also spoke with Kevin Herter of the Sacramento Kings to talk about what he did with it. He was like an early adopter of this grant program. But we also talked about what can be kind of prohibitive in terms of athletes getting into philanthropy and community involvement, and how there's a sense of like, you can't really do that until you're established in the NBA because you're worried, you know, do I have my feet under me? How long is my career even going to last? So it was a very interesting conversation. And it was also very, I don't know, like it made me think about fines in a different way. When you think about them that way, you're like, Draymond Green is a great philanthropist. A surprisingly high earner.
It's why he punches and kicks people.
Yeah, it's like the MVP. No, I don't want to suggest this. No one calls him up, but he's like, you know what? We could really use some more charity money. I'm going to go out tonight and put Rudy Gobert in another.
Yeah, he's like, when am I playing Rudy next?
Yeah, it's a high earning night. Anyway, that's at SB Nation. You can read that there. You can find my other work at basketballfeelings.com. I'm also the national NBA editor of the Locked On new NBA newsletter, which goes out 5 days a week. And you can sign up if you already listen to Locked On. Sorry to plug another podcast on your podcast, but if you already listen to Locked On, you can go to their website. You can decide which team you want to sign up for. Sean Woodley writes the Raptors.
Yeah, we love Sean Woodley. He's been on this show. We'll have him on again.
He's back to being a blogger. He loves it. And we just surpassed 10K subscribers nationally there. So
amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Katie. Thank you everyone for listening and tuning in. Remember about the survey you can fill out, win a $250 Fanatics gift card. Thank you everyone so much, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.